Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy Monday. It's actually Sunday as I'm recording this right now, but I'll be uploading it on Monday, so I will wish you a happy Monday, and I hope that your week goes well. I'm in a really good mood right now. So last Saturday, I finally installed an air conditioning window unit into my at-home office, and it just made all the difference for me. So for you, those who don't know me that well, I live in West Michigan, and as the summer months are starting to heat up, temperatures approach 90 degrees Fahrenheit and humidity's approaching 100%. It just gets abysmal here, and I've never been a guy who really copes that well with the heat. I'm more of a polar bear by nature. So finally, being able to operate inside of an air conditioned temperature controlled space as I'm doing my voiceover stuff. It's just been just such a life change for me, and I'm just it's funny to talk about now, but it's just such a night and day from what I was dealing with a week ago before I had that installed. So yeah, things are looking up here, and I mean, especially the summer, like working in here in my whisper room. I mean, it already gets balmy in here after I spend enough time here, even in like the cooler months, even in like back in the winter, it would start to heat up if I spent too much time in here. So you can imagine what it's like when it's hitting July. So, speaking of which, as the day I upload this, we are officially into the second half of 2019. So that's a crazy thing to think about. So I mean, it's really I think of this every year, but it's like where's the time go? We're already halfway through 2019, and yeah, but it's been crazy though. Like I mean, this will be my first full calendar year doing voiceover full time. Once I wrap up 2019, and I just spent a little time this weekend, both planning for the future and also reflecting on how far I've come so far since I started this, but also mainly since the beginning of 2019. I was thinking, where I was back in January 1st. Like, I didn't have this booth that I'm sitting here recording in. I hadn't finished any of my voice acting classes yet. I hadn't narrated a single audiobook, and just last week I wrapped up my 20th book, and it's become one of the biggest staples in my voiceover income right now. I didn't have any of my professional demos. I had a website, but there wasn't much to see there. I didn't have nearly the social media presence that I have now as far as YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter especially. I do most of my stuff on Twitter. And of course, I hadn't started recording these weekly vlogs. So yeah, just crazy thinking about how much has changed in just the last 6 months from where I started to where I'm at now. And like I say, as it does, well, it does still feel that the years just really sped by, and I look back wondering where the time went. When I think back on everything that has happened in the last 6 months, it makes me realize that yeah, this has already been a pretty eventful year. So, and yeah, for the halfway point, great time to look back at where we've come, as well as where we're going. So, still spent a little extra time this weekend. I always like to keep my weekends for like logistical brainstorming, planning kind of times where I do most of my work during the weekdays, and then weekends, can be a little more slow, a little more chill. I just take a step back and think, okay, where are we going right now? What kind of goals? How are we doing on the goals that I have right now? What goals do I want to set? What do I want to adjust? So, and as we're at the halfway point of the year, I spent a little more time than typical thinking about that and where we're going now. So I'm thinking, I had been saying this a couple weeks ago, but I think July is going to be a really big month for the business. I'm still hoping that this will be my biggest financial month so far. Hopefully making enough money this month to support all of my monthly expenses, which is not a lot because I have awesome rent, but hopefully getting to that point where I can actually do this sustainably and even start putting money away in the bank. That's obviously going to be a big mile marker to hit. And then also, I'm going to be working with a friend of mine, a guy named Dave Soltura, who I met on Twitter. Amazing guy, fantastic voice artist. He's done a lot of work. He's been in this for a while, and just incredibly genuine, really nice guy. But he's going to help me produce my voiceover character demo this upcoming month in July, which I've been meaning to do for a long time and just haven't taken the time to sit down and actually put aside the audiobooks and work on that. And yeah, in addition to that, last main thing that I want to do this month, aside from those two, is set up my profile on some other platforms, a couple of the freelance platforms, and just really get into a position where I can expand my marketplace, the pools in which I can dig into for potential voiceover work even further. Because right now, I mean, I'm doing pretty well with the sites that I'm on right now and the sources that I'm getting for work, but I want to just expand that pool even further so that I'm never at a place where I can't find new work to audition for or to try out for, and yeah, where I can continue to build my client network and expand my marketability and availability to all these different platforms. So, And initially, when I was thinking about going into this month, I had really planned on making my financial goal of finally making, more than enough to make ends meet. My main goal of July. But as I think about it more, because there's still always so much stuff to do, and I even remember talking about this last week, talking about balancing all the different aspects of, running a business, between how much time do you spend doing work versus looking for work, how much time do you spend, managing the office, doing logistical stuff as opposed to doing the things that actually make you money. And I was thinking that this month, I really want to make my main goal about setting up my profiles on these different platforms and really setting myself, really not so much making money this month, although that's important too, but more primarily putting myself in a position where I can make more money in the future, where I can just really set myself up, where I can, just go to work, have all these avenues available for me, have my routine down, where I can just, go to work, crank out things, and hopefully see growth from there. So that's mainly what July's looking like. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what this upcoming month brings. Got a lot of big plans, and had a couple of awesome, cool new people come into my life lately, and other cool opportunities on the way. And then hopefully, if I do make my financial goal this month, or certainly I think August I should be able to make it if I do everything else this month that I want to get done. I may actually try and set out and sign up for one of the pay-to-play sites out there, like Voices.com and Voices123. So for those who don't know, in the voiceover world, there's obviously a lot of different places where you can find work. Like you can do books for Audible, you can do different freelance stuff, you can contact people directly. But one of the big platforms for professional voiceover talents and voice actors is the big pay-to-play sites, like the ones I mentioned, Voices.com, Voices123. That's where a lot of the big companies go with the big paying jobs, and where a lot of the people who are, very professional, very proficient at voiceover, who do this full time, spend a lot of their time looking for new jobs and new clients. And it's something that I've been holding off on signing up for a while, just because, as you would imagine, that's where the big dogs, the big professionals like to hang out. So if you're going to be competing and auditioning for some of the same jobs as them, you really want to have your act together. And I feel like once I get a couple more things done this month, I should be in a position where I think I can start, branching out there, auditioning there, and, getting my feet wet and seeing what that bigger world is like. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what this month brings, and then hopefully what I can get done this month will lead to I'm able to accomplish in the future. So yeah, I hope everyone else has had an awesome year 2019 so far, and I wish you the best in the rest of this year. We're only halfway through. There's still a lot more time before 2020 hits, and really, don't ever get too tied down by any particular dates, by any particular years. Like, time doesn't stop and start. Life continues on until it doesn't. So it's nice to have goals and mile markers as you move along, doing things that you do. But ultimately, as time bound as things are, stuff doesn't really stop. Like, I'm struggling with how to articulate this, but basically, my goals are. I try to look at my goals as secondary to, the broader journey that I'm on. So, if you don't hit something within a particular month, it's not the end of the world, as long as you keep moving progressively toward what you're trying to do. So that's about what I was trying to say. All right. Once again, hope you all have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful rest of 2019. 4th of July coming up this Wednesday, so spend some time with your family. Think about this awesome country, freedoms that we have here. So if you live in America, everyone else who doesn't live in America, feel free to enjoy your week as well. But especially for us, us Americans, us Yankees, it's a big week. Remember, it's coming up for us. All right, I'm done rambling. I wish you all well. Have an excellent week. Take care.